Pip Pyle. When did you first meet him?
Oh, that was a long time ago, socially more than musically, when he was... Although I was invited to sit in with Hatfield, it was back in those days, yeah. And I met him and Benji Lefebvre, who became the Soft Machine roadie, and we're still in touch.
So you played with Pip?
So Pip,
as a guest?
Yeah, and then socially we started playing up at his place. I mean,
with Hatfield, were you the only guest, or was it part of
yeah,
the
it was just sitting in. Really, didn't rehearse with them, and it was complicated stuff. It would just be like, oh, come and have a blow. Although it wasn't that sort of band, really. It was incredibly complicated music. But no, it was more a social contact with Pip, and he'd start promoting a couple of gigs up at Bishop Stortford, up where he lived, and we'd get little bands together. So the Weightwatchers came out of that, and Weightwatchers with Tibbetts and well, eventually, yeah, he did the tour. Benji again was involved roadieing for that tour, and Henk Rolterbreden in Holland. He got a tour together, although he'd get a tour together for my quartet with Lewis and Keith, but he got a tour together and was talking to Pip, and so Weightwatchers was formed. Again, at a local gig that had a meeting of a weight watching old ladies meeting in the same building, so suddenly it looked like we were the Weight Watchers. So that's how I got its name. So I mean, it was like meetings like that, and then more regular projects or more permanent projects like Salty, Alan Gowan, Hugh.
But the Weightwatchers, was it like a fun band?
It was a fun band. It was just the tour of Holland, and then I remember Pip and I going around getting gigs in London at the Marquee and like publicising them ourselves. We'd be sticking posters on buses and all kinds of craziness. But, it was hanging out together as friends and playing as well.
Sadly, there's no recordings available of that band, and I was wondering if it sounds like the music Hugh and Keith played with other rhythm sections, or was there a more rocky approach because of Pip and Jim Richardson, who was also in it?
But he was a jazz bass player.
Yeah, he played acoustic bass.
Yeah, on that tour he did. And we'd do, well, it was a big mixture. We'd do like Sonny Rollins rock tunes, jazz rock tunes, and we'd do ballads, and we'd do a Phil Miller tune, we'd do a Pip Pyle tune, some of Jim's, some of Keith's. It was just a mixed bag, really. And no recording. No, I've never heard, apart from a conversation on a boat going over to the tour, which is quite the Weightwatchers at Sea tape, which couldn't be released.
There's some music on it?
No. And it was a fun band. I don't think it was anyone's project. I mean, it was the band that... I mean, we changed bass players just at the last minute. Jim Richardson had never played with us before that tour. It was supposed to be Roy Babington was going to do it, then he couldn't do it, and he dropped out on the morning of travelling. So it was like that band.
And just after that, you did the record with Hugh Hopper and Joe Gallivan instead.
That
seems like a continuation of the
band.
It
was around that time. There was that was Compendium, the Norwegian company that Joe Gallivan had a connection with. And in fact, the guy Frode Holm, who was the creator of the company, was a keyboard player and like a soft sheet band, and he actually wanted to be in that band, and that was what he was aiming at. But he wasn't. Well, he didn't get in the band.
So you mean as with Keith or instead of Keith?
Instead of Keith, that was his agenda, secret agenda, but it didn't work out. And again, it was a scratch band. work was there and a recording was set up before we'd actually played a note together. I think Joe had been saying that, you know, the band was ready, which in fact it was, because the chemistry was good. But we hadn't actually played till we got in the studio in Oslo and said, right, what are we going to do? And I brought a couple of tunes, Keith brought a couple of tunes, and we actually created our repertoire in the studio. What came out at the end, and including some improvisation, became the basis of what work we then had in Scandinavia. And we worked quite a lot that band.
Yeah, you did a tour, and you did the second album, Mercy Dash.
Yes, that was virtually at the end of the tour between. Yeah, it was sort of probably the last thing we did was that record, and the first thing we did was the first record, Gilbert Flag.
Do you remember where it was recorded? There's a sort of...
The Mercy Dash?
Yeah.
It was down in, it's called Riverside Studios down in Barnes. It's not the Hammersmith Riverside Studios, which is like a theatre. Yeah. But there was a small recording studio. And in fact I did El Skid there as well. It was quite a nice little studio. With a very good piano. I enjoyed playing there.